In the dim glow of a flickering fluorescent light, Maria Torres wiped the grease from her calloused hands onto her worn overalls, staring at the rusted engine block that mocked her from the workbench. It was past midnight in her cramped garage on the outskirts of Detroit, Michigan, where the hum of distant traffic blended with the soft whimpers of her 8-year-old daughter, Sophia, asleep in a makeshift bed in the corner. Sophia's wheelchair stood sentinel nearby, a constant reminder of the accident that had shattered their lives 3 years ago, a hit-and-run driver who vanished into the night, leaving Maria's world in pieces. As a single mother and the only mechanic in a neighborhood forgotten by prosperity, Maria fixed cars by day and dreamed of miracles by night. But tonight, as rain pounded the tin roof like an unrelenting drum, a sleek black limousine sputtered to a halt outside her shop, its headlights cutting through the storm like desperate pleas. Little did Maria know, this breakdown would mend more than just a vehicle, it would weave the threads of 2 vastly different lives into a tapestry of unexpected grace. Maria hesitated at the door, peering through the grimy window. Limousines didn't belong in places like this, they were for the glittering world of boardrooms and penthouses, not the grit of blue-collar survival. But the driver, a burly man in a soaked suit, banged urgently on the glass. "Please, ma'am. It's an emergency. The boss is inside, Mr. Harlan West, the tech billionaire. Car's dead, and we've got no signal out here." Harlan West, the name echoed like a headline. Founder of West Tech, the company that revolutionized AI and made him one of the richest men in America. Maria had seen his face on billboards, touting innovations that promised to change the world, but in her world, change meant scraping together enough for Sophia's next doctor's appointment. She unlocked the door, letting the storm rush in with them. Harlan emerged from the back seat, his tailored suit rumpled, his sharp features softened by frustration. "Can you fix it?" he barked, more command than question. Maria nodded, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. "I'll try." "Pop the hood." As Maria dove under the limousine's hood, the rain easing to a drizzle, Harlan paced the garage, his eyes scanning the humble space. Tools scattered like forgotten treasures, faded photos pinned to the wall, of a younger Maria laughing with Sophia before the accident, her daughter's tiny legs kicking freely in a park swing. Sophia stirred in her sleep, murmuring softly, and Harlan's gaze locked on the wheelchair. "What's her story?" he asked, his tone shifting from impatience to curiosity. The driver shot him a warning look, but Maria, wrench in hand, glanced up briefly. "Accident. Paralyzed from the waist down. Doctors say she needs experimental surgery, stem cells or something high-tech. Costs a fortune we don't have." She tightened a bolt, her words clipped, not seeking pit, but stating facts. Harlan's phone buzzed faintly as signal returned, he could call a tow truck now, escape this delay. But something held him, perhaps the raw authenticity of the scene, so far from his insulated life in Silicon Valley. Harlan West wasn't always a billionaire. Born in a trailer park in rural Texas, he'd clawed his way up through sheer intellect and relentless drive, building an empire on algorithms that predicted human behavior. But success had hardened him, board meetings replaced family dinners, and philanthropy was a tax write-off, not a heartfelt endeavor. As Maria worked, diagnosing a faulty alternator with the precision of someone who'd learned mechanics from her late father, Harlan found himself drawn into conversation. "You do this alone?" he asked, leaning against a workbench. Maria shrugged. "Have to. Husband left after the accident, couldn't handle it. Folks around here bring their cars because they know I'll fix 'em right, even if they pay in installments or trade favors." She paused, wiping sweat from her brow. "Kindness keeps the lights on, you know. Not money." Harlan chuckled dryly. "In my world, it's the opposite. Money buys everything, loyalty, time, even health." But as he spoke, his eyes flickered to Sophia, who woke with a yawn, her bright eyes meeting his. "Hi, mister. Is your car sick?" she asked innocently, wheeling closer. Harlan knelt to her level, surprised by the warmth in her smile. "Yeah, kiddo. But your mom's making it better. The repair took hours, Maria scavenging parts from her scrap pile, improvising with the ingenuity of necessity. Harlan could have left, summoned a helicopter even, but he stayed, fetching tools and sharing stories. He spoke of his rise from poverty, the betrayals in business that left him cynical. Maria listened, her hands never stopping. "Sounds lonely at the top," she said softly. "I may not have much, but I have Sophia. She's my everything." As dawn broke, the limousine roared to life. Harlan reached for his wallet, pulling out a stack of bills. "How much?" Maria shook her head. "Nothing. You needed help, I gave it. Pay it forward someday." Harlan froze, the gesture piercing his armored heart. No one turned down his money, not investors, not charities. "Why?" he whispered. Maria glanced at Sophia, who giggled at a joke the driver told. "Because we're all just people, Mr. West. Rich or poor, we break down sometimes. Kindness fixes what money can't." Harlan drove away that morning, but the encounter lingered like an unresolved code in his mind. Back in his sprawling mansion overlooking San Francisco Bay, he replayed the night, Maria's selflessness, Sophia's unyielding spirit. His own daughter. Estranged after years of neglect, flashed in his thoughts. West Tech had pioneered medical AI, including neural interfaces for paralysis. Why hadn't he thought of it before? A profound realization hit him, his wealth had blinded him to humanity's simple truths. He cancelled meetings, diving into research. Weeks passed, Maria back to her routine, fixing neighbors' cars, reading bedtime stories to Sophia, dreaming of a day her daughter might walk. Bills piled up, the surgery remained a distant fantasy. Then, one crisp autumn afternoon, a convoy of black SUVs pulled up to her garage. Harlan stepped out, not in a suit, but jeans and a hoodie, looking almost human. "Maria," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I couldn't forget what you did." Or Sophia. Behind him, a team of specialists from West Tech unloaded equipment, prototype exoskeletons, neural stimulators, all experimental tech not yet on the market. "We're going to help her walk." Maria's tools clattered to the floor. "What? How?" "I can't afford," Harlan raised a hand. "You already paid, with your kindness. This is me paying it forward." Sophia's eyes widened as doctors explained the procedure, a non-invasive trial using AI-driven implants to reroute signals around her damaged spine. It wasn't a cure, but a bridge to mobility. Maria wept, hugging Harlan fiercely. "Why us? You don't even know us." He swallowed hard. "Because you reminded me what it means to be human. In my world, everything's transactional. You showed me grace without expectation." The next months blurred into a whirlwind. Harlan's team set up a makeshift clinic in Maria's garage, transforming it into a hub of hope. Neighbors watched in awe as Sophia underwent sessions, electrodes buzzing, her legs twitching for the first time. Harlan visited often, not as a benefactor, but a friend. He shared lunches with Maria, laughing over greasy sandwiches, opening up about his regrets. "I built an empire, but lost my soul," he confessed one evening, as Sophia practiced standing with braces. "Seeing her fight, it makes me want to be better." Maria nodded, her own heart swelling. "We all have our breakdowns, Harlan. The fix is in how we help each other." An unexpected turn came when Harlan's estranged daughter, Elena, learned of his involvement. A tabloid leak painted him as a hero, but she saw through it, visiting unannounced, confronting him in the garage. "Is this some PR stunt, Dad?" she accused. Harlan's eyes filled with tears. "No. It's real. Maria and Sophia, they showed me what I missed with you." Elena stayed, bonding with Sophia, the two girls forming an unlikely sisterhood. It was a moment of profound realization for Harlan. Kindness wasn't a one-way street, it rippled outward, healing old wounds. The emotional climax arrived on a sunny spring day, the garage doors flung open to a crowd of neighbors, Harlan's team, and even Elena. Sophia, fitted with the final prototype, a sleek exoskeleton synced to her neural patterns, took a deep breath. "Mama, watch me," she whispered. Maria held her breath, Harlan beside her, his hand trembling. With a whir of motors and the crowd's hushed anticipation, Sophia rose from her wheelchair. One step, shaky but sure. Then another. The garage erupted in cheers as she walked across the floor, her laughter ringing like bells. Maria collapsed into sobs, pulling Sophia into an embrace. Harlan turned away, tears streaming down his face, the unbreakable billionaire, reduced to vulnerability. I never thought. He choked out. Maria hugged him too. You gave her wings, Harlan. But you gave yourself back your heart. In the aftermath, life transformed. Sophia's story went viral, not as a billionaire's whim, but a testament to human connection. West Tech accelerated the tech's development, making it affordable for others. Maria's garage expanded into a community center, where she taught mechanics to at-risk youth, funded by Harlan's foundation. He reconciled with Elena, rebuilding their bond over family dinners that included Maria and Sophia. The two families became one, bound not by blood or wealth, but by shared humanity. As Maria watched Sophia run in the park one evening, legs strong and free, she reflected on that stormy night. Kindness, she realized, was the greatest equalizer, a force that could make the mighty weep and the humble soar. In a world divided by fortunes and fates, it was the simple acts of selflessness that bridged the gaps, reminding us all that beneath the surface, we're just people helping each other through the storm. And in that truth lies the power to change everything.